Today our lesson is on 11.4 area of a parallelogram. So I want you guys to go ahead and take a minute and write that down at the top of your notes, 11.4 area of a parallelogram. Then also go ahead and put your date in the top right corner of your notes. Now I want you guys to go ahead and copy this slide. I want you to take probably about 5 minutes. Remember, if mine is in red, I want you to go ahead and do yours in red on the paper too. And even where you see that I've drawn the parallelogram, I want you to make your drawing look exactly like mine. So once again, take about 5 minutes, copy down this slide for me, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, now that you've written that down, I want to just talk about something real quick, just to kind of give you your bearings about the height of something. Think about this. This is a person, a nice and happy person. And this person is, let's say 5 feet 3 inches. How tall they are is their height, okay? So we're going to be talking about height also with parallelogram today. Now I want you to think about, at the bottom of the height is the base. This down here, kind of what a person is walking on, that's the base, okay? So let's talk about some more formal definitions of these words. First off, the base. This is the side that the height intersects to form a right angle. So you can think about down here, this is the base that the height, here's the line you can see, intersects, okay? That means it goes into it, it passes, it intersects, and it forms a right angle, all right? If you remember, here we've got this right here, that's our 90-degree angle, okay? So the base is that bottom part. Now let's think about the height. The height forms the right angle with the base. So once you have found the base, the bottom part, you've got to figure out the height is how tall something is. It's going up there and it's forming, once again, a right angle that you can see right there. There is a formula that you're going to have memorized. That formula is the area of a parallelogram, and this is it. A equals base times height. So you're going to take what the base is and multiply it by the height. Let's go ahead and say what the area of a parallelogram is together. Area equals base times height. Let's say it together one more time. Area equals base times height. All right, so let's just say that the base right here, that we know the base is, let's say, 2 inches. Okay, and the height is 1.5 inches. Okay, so now we know that we would take the base, which is 2, and multiply it times 1.5. Plug that into your calculators to find out what the area of this parallelogram would be. What do you guys get? Okay, 3 inches. Now basically what that is, it's finding the area, so you want to go ahead and square the units, 3 inches squared, okay? So that is what the area is of that right there. But let's talk about perimeter. The perimeter is the outside of a shape, okay? So I've got this right here, the base, I know it's 2 inches, but there's a little star that I have written here underneath the perimeter. Read me what it says. The sides opposite each other have the same length. Can you guys tell which one is the opposite of the base? Okay, it's not this one right here because that's right there next to it. The one that's opposite of the base is this up here. Okay, so that's going to be the same exact thing, 2 inches. All right, now let's say that the width was just 1 inch. Basically for the perimeter, all you want to do is you want to add up all the sides. So I'm going to add up this side, plus this side, plus this side, plus this side. If I was to add it up, I know that I've got 1 inch plus 2 inches plus 1 inch again plus 2 inches. When I add all that up, what do I get? Okay, 6 inches. That's right, all right? Or you can use this for the perimeter of a parallelogram. It's 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So we know 2 times the length. What was my length? 2 inches. Plus 2 times the width. What was that width? 1 inch. Okay, so now we know 2 times 2 is 4, plus 2 times 1 is 2. Once again, you still get the same thing, 6 inches. Always remember to give me what units it is, okay? So now let's go through, we'll do a few other problems together. We're going to be using these formulas that we just came up with. So I want you to take about 3 or 4 minutes and write down this slide, including the shape and the different heights that you see there for the height and the base. Okay, now that you've written that down, number 1, instructions will be just like this on your homework tonight, so look carefully at how you're writing these notes. Number 1, find the area of the parallelogram. And there's a note right there that I want you to put in a red pen. When finding the area, your answer will always be units squared. Because when we're finding the area, we're trying to figure out all this area in between here, okay? How much space is there? So let's go ahead and start off with a formula. What is the formula for finding the area of a parallelogram? Okay, it is the area equals the base times the height, okay? So if you remember, the base, it's the side that the height intersects. So my base, what is the base? 10 centimeters, good job. It's this bottom part down here, okay? So that equals 10 multiplied by the height. Remember, the height is the line that forms the right angle with the base. So you can see already here, it's actually put that right angle, so you can tell that this is going to be your height. So we're going to be multiplying it times 6. Guys, what is 10 times 6? 60, okay? Now, if you remember my note that I put way up here, whenever you find the area, your answer will always be units squared. So it's not just going to be centimeters, what will it be? Centimeters squared, okay? And that is the area of our parallelogram. Let's go on to the next one. Number 2, take about 3 minutes to write down this slide for me, please. Okay, so for number 2, you'll see that the instructions are a little bit different. Beforehand, we were just finding the area of the parallelogram. Now it's asking me to find the perimeter and the area. So let's go ahead and start with the perimeter. What is my formula for finding a perimeter of a parallelogram? P equals 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. All right, so now it's just a matter of plugging things in. What is the length that you can see here? 15, okay? So we're going to plug that in right there. P equals 2 times 15 plus, what's my width? 9 inches, okay? Good job. Thank you for not mistaking it for the height. The height is over here in the middle because that's the one that is making a right angle with the base, okay? So good job, plus 2 times 9. Now we're just plugging in our numbers. What's 2 times 15, guys? 30. Plus, what's 2 times 9? 18, okay? Now, hopefully you can do it in your head. If not, go ahead and put it in your calculator. 30 plus 18 equals 48. Now, if you remember, basically all you were doing is you were adding up the different sides. So 15 plus 9 plus this 15 up here plus this 9 over here. How many inches total is that? We just got it. 48 inches. Should it be inches squared? It should not be inches squared, and here's why. All I was doing was adding the outside to try to find the length, okay? So that's my first step. We found the perimeter, but I'm not finished. I've also got to find the area, so be careful on your homework tonight. Some of them will ask just for the area or just the perimeter. Some will ask for both, okay? And you can see the importance right here of putting a P, because that's going to tell me that's my perimeter, okay? If you've got room to the right, go ahead and do it to the right. I've obviously run out of room, so I'm just going to do it directly underneath it. But if you can, go ahead and do it to the right. Now I've got to find the area of a parallelogram. What is the formula for area of a parallelogram? Area equals base times height. Okay, what's my base? All right, 15 inches. You can remember the base, by the definition that we did, it's the side that the height intersects. And remember, you can always find that by finding that right angle. I can see my right angle is right here. What is the height that's intersecting it? It's forming a right angle with the base. 7 inches. There you can see that's my height. Whoops. Right here. Sorry about that. Okay, what is 15 times 7? 105 inches is correct. But if I am finding the area, it cannot just be inches. What should it be? Inches squared, because you're finding out the total amount of space that is in here. Remember, that's what your area is, okay? So we just found the perimeter and we found the area of the parallelogram. Let's go ahead and do another example just like that. Please write down this parallelogram for me. Okay, now that you've got that written down, you can see that I went ahead and I put in both the lengths and both the widths for you. So let's start off with our perimeter because it's the same instructions. We're finding the perimeter and the area of the parallelogram. Let's start with the perimeter. It equals 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. What's my length, guys? Okay, 7. 2 times 7. Plus the width. What's the width? How wide was that parallelogram? 4.3. All right, go ahead and plug these into your calculator. First one, 2 times 7, 14, plus, what's 2 times 4.3? 8.6, okay? Final one, you're finding the perimeter for me, 14 plus 8.6. 22.6, and what are my units? Centimeters. Should I square them? You do not need to square them because it's the perimeter. Remember, the perimeter is just finding the length of the outside all added up together, okay? So now we're going to go ahead and do the area for this one also. I'm going to squish it in over here, okay? Area equals, what's the thing? The formula? Base times the height. Good job. All right, so what's my base? This can be tricky. You don't want to think this just because it's toward the bottom, okay? It's not 4.3. If you remember, the base, by definition, it's the side that the height intersects. We can tell this right here is the height because that's also where my right angle is formed, okay? So this is going to be my base, which means my base is what, guys? 7. And what's my height? Remember, it forms a right angle with the base. 4 is correct. All right, what is 7 times 4? 28. And then let's squish it in here. Centimeters, just plain old centimeters? Centimeters squared. And that's how you find the perimeter and the area of a parallelogram. Now we're going to do something just a little bit different. I want you to go ahead and take just a couple minutes, write this down for me. Let's not write down problem number 5 yet. We'll come to that here in just a minute. I want you guys just to go ahead and write down problem number 4. But write these instructions for me. Find the unknown base or the height of the parallelogram when A equals 24 centimeters squared, that's the area. The base is 6 centimeters, and then we're going to be trying to find the height, okay? Take just a couple minutes to write down this slide. Okay, so we're trying to find the base or the height. In this case, we're finding the height. What do you think? Will I be using the formula for the area of a parallelogram or for the perimeter? Look at the original problem. This tells us the area, so we're looking for the area. So let's start off with our formula for the area of a parallelogram. Area equals base times height. Now we're just doing algebra. We're going to plug in our numbers, okay? So my area is what? 24 centimeters. Okay, so let's go ahead and put 24 centimeters there. Do I know my base? Yes, it's 6, okay? 6 centimeters. Do I know my height? No, the height is unknown, so I'm just going to keep it there. Once again, my goal whenever we have a variable is to get the variable by itself. How do I get that variable alone? You have to get rid of that multiply by 6. The opposite of multiply by 6 is divide by 6. And what I do to one side, I've got to do to the other side. So this 6 over 6 cancels out, and I'm left with the height equals what, guys? 4, don't forget, you've got to put centimeters. Now, should this be centimeters squared or just centimeters? You want it to just be centimeters because it's just talking about the side or the height of this parallelogram. Now I'm going to go ahead and erase this. I want you to skip a line and go ahead and write down problem 5. See if you can do this problem 5 on your own. It's going to be exactly like problem 4, but this time you're looking for the base instead of the height. So take a couple minutes to do this on your own. All right, let's try this out together. The area is going to be 4 meters squared. We're looking for the base, and we know the height is 12 meters. So what formula do I start off with? Area equals base times height, and just start plugging those numbers in. I know my area is going to be 4 meters squared. I don't know the base, but I do know that my height is 12. Once again, my goal is to get the b by itself. How do I get rid of that times 12? You divide by 12. Okay, these two cancel each other out. Now let's go ahead and reduce this. What's 4/3 reduced? 1/3. Okay, so the truth here for finding the base, it's 1/3 of a meter, and that is your base. All right, here we go. We're going to do the last and final problem for today, so go ahead and take a couple minutes and write down this story problem for me, please. All right, tonight on your homework, you're going to have one story problem, so I wanted to give an example of this. For number 6, it says, a treadmill's belt is the shape of a parallelogram. The area is 2,052 inches squared. The height is 18 inches, and now you've got to find what the length of the belt is. So let's just try to kind of break this down to think, if I have the area and I have the height, where it's talking about that length of the belt, what do you think that is? What part of my formula would that length of the belt be? That's going to be my base, okay? That's what I'm trying to find out, is the base right now. So let's just start off with our formula. What's the formula for the area of a parallelogram? The area equals base times height, okay? So it tells us what the area is. It's 2,052 inches squared. It does not tell me what the base is. It's asking us to find what the base is, or find what the length of that belt is. And if you look on page 553 in your book when you're doing your homework later tonight, there's a picture of a treadmill, so you could picture this even better, or a picture of the belt on a treadmill, okay? The height, it tells us how many inches is it? 18 inches, okay? Now my whole goal is to get the variable by itself, just like always when we do algebra. How do I get rid of that times 18? Divide it by 18 on both sides. I want you to plug that into your calculator for me, please. This cancels out. And once you plug that in, you're going to find the base. Go ahead and do it. What do you get, guys? 114. Okay, now I've got to have units attached. It's a story problem. So if I'm looking back, should it be inches or inches squared? Just plain old inches, because I'm not looking for the area. It's just plain old inches. 114 inches is the length of the belt. Okay, so now your homework for tonight, it's numbers 2 and 4, 6 through 13 all. Okay, so you've got 10 problems just like normal. I want you to go ahead and pull out a piece of paper and please write down this assignment for tonight. Great job listening. I hope you do a great job on your homework tonight. We'll check it tomorrow in class.